Good afternoon, and welcome to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. I appreciate you being here, and I am indeed WendyY Bailey. I'd like to start out by doing a little bit of housekeeping. This is the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey, and yes, I am indeed WendyY Bailey. I am a 19-year veteran business and sales coach, and I show coaches how to master business, marketing, and sales. If you are missing any of the previous episodes that have tons of content, be sure to visit us at profitablecoachingconversations.com, where there are a number of episodes, almost 100. And I'm excited to say that next week we'll be celebrating our 100th episode, and we'd love for you to celebrate with us. So go to profitablecoachingconversations.com, and you'll see all of the content there. The other thing I want to make sure you know is that you can join us at the Profitable Coaching Society. It's a private Facebook community at profitablecoachingsociety.com, where I share best practices, I share a lot of content and upcoming events and all of that kind of stuff. If you're watching me on Facebook, be sure to grant StreamYard permission so that I can see your name in the comments. If you're catching the replay, go ahead and type hashtag replay so that I know you are here and I know that you are, interested in seeing more. So welcome, Stephanie Treasure. Good to see you. Good to see you. So thank you guys so much for being here. So today's topic, like all topics, are really focused on helping you to grow your coaching business. And so today, my community at the Society selected the topic, the anatomy of an income producing activity. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of background behind the topic. When I started talking to my clients about 5 or 6 years ago, the thing that kept coming up was the lack of consistent action that my clients had. Didn't mean every day, every hour, every week, every month. It meant making sure that you were consistently doing something in your business to help it to grow. And the reality was they were doing a lot of things in their businesses they thought would help their businesses grow, but they were doing what I call non-income producing activities. So at that point, it wasn't just about consistent action. It was about really doing the right kind of consistent action. So income producing activities are the right kind of consistent action or consistent activities. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what an income producing activity is. Income producing activities are daily, weekly, or monthly activities that you engage in that move your business forward. It's all about a bottom line impact. It's all about being productive rather than busy. It really is about focusing on the right kinds of activities, the right kinds of activities. So let me tell you a little bit more about what an income producing activity is. Okay. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I don't jump ahead. Okay, so I'll tell you what specific income producing activities are in just a little bit. So when you think of your income producing activity, you've got to ask yourself anytime you're engaged in something, whether or not it is going to produce income for you. You've got to make sure. Thank you, Stephanie. I know you talk about revenue producing activities, so I know you get this really, really well. So when you think of income producing activities, you got to focus on the things that are going to generate income or money or revenue for you. And there are things that just don't fall into that category that I'll share with you in just a minute. The whole thought of an IPA, that's what I'll call them from now on. An IPA focuses you on what matters most. And that means it focuses you on generating income. It focuses you on profitability. It focuses you on creating long-term success. It also focuses you on a standard of excellence in terms of how you show up in your business. So when you think of an IPA, focusing on what matters most means it's going to get you the most kind of traction, the greatest result, the biggest return on your investment of time into that consistent action. Okay. The other thing I want to share is there are non-income producing activities that you're going to be surprised that come up that you need to stay away from. Be aware of them. And when you're aware of them, then you can do something different than that. Some examples of non-IPAs are excuses, distractions, multitasking, surfing the web. That includes social media marketing. If you're posting on social media, it is a non-income producing activity. Yeah, it generates visibility, it generates credibility, but you need to, if possible, delegate, outsource those activities to someone else on your team. Okay. So if you're surfing the web, you're checking your emails, constantly, every time your phone goes off, if you're, responding to your phone, that's a non-income producing activity kind of way of being in your business. And you want to put a stop to it, right? Excuses. Oh, well, I can't do that because I'm doing this, or I can't focus on that because I'm doing that. I remember years ago, I was working with a friend, and she was a friend, she wasn't a client, and she did a radio show every week. And one of the things she did to be sure she wasn't distracted or interrupted while she was focusing on her radio show was she put a sign on her door that said, "Recording in progress, do not disturb." When you are doing income producing activities, you need to have that same way of thinking about what you do as well. You need to make sure people understand that there's a certain time, Harlan, there's a certain time that you're going to be devoting to business building, to income producing activities, and your focus is on that. I'll tell you what they are in just a minute, but if you're multitasking, if you're trying to do 2 or 3 things at one time, it's not a good thing. Let me say this about multitasking. I've always prided myself on being a multitasker until about 5 or 6 years ago. And what I discovered was that when I multitasked, my brain, it was almost like my brain was divided into several pieces, right? And if my brain was divided into several pieces, what I discovered was I had a really hard time completing one of them because there was fog around it because of all the other pieces that I had going on in my brain. Multitasking, research has proven multiple times over that multitasking is counterproductive. So if you're focusing on a task, make sure it is an income producing task and complete it before you move on to something else. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Also make sure that the distractions and the interruptions go away, that you manage them in a way that supports you. We have voicemail on every kind of phone that we have. If someone's calling you, they need to leave you a voicemail, and you return calls at a certain point in time during the day. But any of that kind of stuff is really a non-income producing activity. Okay. There are some other non-income producing activities that I want to tell you about too. What is the other one? I don't have it written in my notes, but what is the other one? If you are there are 2 other types of non-income producing activities. One is, these are time wasters that I've shared. Time wasters are these excuses, distractions, multitasking, surfing the web, posting on social media. You've also got things that are energy drainers that are non-income producing activities. Now, I know I'm gonna step on some toes with this one too, but non-IPAs include things like insomnia, caffeine. Yeah. If you are emotionally connected to some sort of toxic relationship, it's an energy drainer for you. It may not be like on a conscious level, but you want to pay attention to any kind of relationships that drain you, any kind of relationships that you're focused on, or you're ruminating over, or you're thinking about during the course of your day. If you've got unresolved issues in relationships, resolve them so that you can move on. Okay. So that they're not taking up space in your energy or in what you're trying to accomplish. When you focus on income producing activities specifically, it means that you are really moving your business forward in a very productive way. Here are some examples of income producing activities. If you're working on client work, if you're meeting with clients, coaching them, if you're doing a training of people on your team, those are all income producing activities. I just offboarded and onboarded a new team, and when I was spending time talking with my team leader, so to speak, about what I needed to have done, one of the things I said to her is, there are things that I could have you do that would really help me, but in reality, I need you focused on income producing activities specifically. I need you working on this sales page. I need you, building out this funnel. I need you creating this kind of information. Think about that time I spent with her was income producing an income producing activity. Okay. Think about how you delegate to your team. If your genius isn't working on the things that you are working on, then you need to delegate it because it is a non-income producing activity. Now, let me say something else about client work. If you're spending like days and days on end trying to develop a webinar or a presentation or whatever it is, if you're spending days and days on end, then it means you need to delegate it, because client work involves you pouring your intellectual property into it, but it's not designed for you to take up all of your time doing that webinar, creating that webinar. The way that I think, and I know it may be different for some people, but the way that I think is I kind of think about, ruminate over the content and the structure in my mind for several days. So when I sit down at the computer to actually do the work, it just pours right out because I've already thought about the order of things. I've already thought about like how I want to say certain things and where things are that I want to put certain things. So think about it, and it's okay to ruminate on it for a little bit like I do. And if you need to, write it out, scratch it out. If you need to, you can use the Post-it note way of planning. You can write an idea on a Post-it note, have several ideas on several Post-it notes. Then you can, stick them to your wall and move them around and come up with newer ideas if that works for you. But client work is an income producing activity. It's an IPA. Just be sure that you're not spending too much time on it, right? And when I say too much time, I talked to somebody, it's been a couple of years ago, and we kind of were catching up, and I said, so tell me what you've been up to. And she said, well, I've been working on this webinar that I'm going to be delivering. I said, okay, so how long have you been working on that? She told me like months, right? She told me months. I was like, okay, why have you been working on a webinar for months, right? And when we really got into it for her, it was, she wanted it to be just perfect. She wanted it to be just so. Done is better than perfect. The more you do the work in a timely fashion, the better you get at building content quickly, right? The more you do that, the better you get at building it. And one of the things that I also do is I write scripts when I'm actually doing something on audio. And that's how I was able to create my first two books, was from scripts that I had written. Write your scripts out and then know that you can ad lib if you need to. That's client work because it's facing clients, right? Me doing this right now is client work. It's facing clients. You speaking from the stage, you opening a room, hosting a room on Clubhouse. It's all definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, income producing activities. Okay. The thing that I really want you guys to understand from all of this is you can engage in income producing activities and be highly successful in what you're able to accomplish. But remember to steer clear of the time wasters. As I said before, those are the excuses, the distractions, the multitasking, the surfing the web, the posting on social media, posting selfies on social media in particular. Those are all non-income producing activities. Those are time wasters. You also want to stay away from the energy drainers, the things like the insomnia, the caffeine, the toxic relationships, the unresolved issues in conversations or relationships, so that they're not taking up space, mental space in your brain that you really need to focus on IPAs specifically. So remember, if you have any questions, you can post your questions in the comments, and I'll go back on every platform to make sure I didn't miss anything. And if you have a comment that you'd like to make, I'd love to see you comment. If you're following me on YouTube, be sure that you hit the subscribe button and follow me, subscribe to this channel. We're a growing channel of views and connections, and I just love sharing this content with you. As a reminder, we're here on these live platforms. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm also on LinkedIn. Okay, so I'm here every Thursday in the 2 p.m. Eastern hour, and would love to support you, would love to share more content with you. So meet me on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. I also drop guest episodes on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays at 1 p.m., you can count on a new episode to drop. And you can access all of the episodes that have ever been produced at profitablecoachingconversations.com. Thanks so much for being here. I hope this is really helpful for you guys. I appreciate your time, your attention, and I will see you next time for another great episode. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.